you're batting cleanup, brother. This is it, man. We got you in the cleanup spot, because we've been grinding on this thing for 5-6 weeks now. We've had, I think it's about 50 something, 57, 56 speakers, and man, we're just happy you come on and help us out a little bit and do this thing for us. Coach Hawkins from Arizona State. Appreciate you coming on, buddy.
Oh, absolutely. I know you guys been doing this. I know you did it yesterday and today as well, and it's been long, so I won't take too much time, probably about 20 minutes, 25, 30 minutes at max. Do I share my screen? Let me see.
Yeah, share your screen. Should be good to go. There you go. Perfect.
All right, everybody can see this?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay, well, first of all, my name is Chris Hawkins. Obviously, I'm the Arizona State defensive back coach, but just to talk a little bit about myself, not too long ago, I was a recruit. I was a high school player, just like, some of the guys that you guys have from Rancho Cucamonga, California. Went to Rancho Cucamonga High School, was a pretty sought after recruit, a 4-star guy out of Rancho. Just like your kids wanted every offer, wanted everything. I got lucky enough to get with the right people, and I became a national recruit, as they would say. Chose USC, went to USC, started over 40 games at USC, won the Rose Bowl in 2017. Went to the Cotton Bowl my last year, got a chance to win the Pac-12 championship my senior year. Then as soon as pretty much the draft, the whole draft thing and mini camps and all that was over, I pretty much decided I wanted to go in another direction and go straight into coaching. I got a shot with the Seahawks, but I decided I wanted to kind of just to make my own path. I didn't really want to do the NFL thing, so I went straight into coaching. I got a job GA and obviously at USC. Coach Clay Helton hooked me up with a job there at GA, and this was last year, literally a year ago in January. And so I did a GA for a year, and then in this past December, I got a call from Tony White, Antonio Pierce, and Coach Hearn basically asking me did I want to be the new DB coach at ASU. Obviously, at 24 years old, you're not going to turn that down. So that made me the youngest coach in America, obviously, and just turned 25 in March. And now I'm sitting here kicking and screaming, trying to recruit some of the best players in America with some of the top dogs. And it's all about self-confidence, believing in yourself that you can do it, because we always instill confidence in our players, and that's what they live by. But you also have to have confidence in yourself to know that you can get these kids ready, to know that you can go out there and compete with the best when it comes to recruiting and when it comes to coaching, knowing that you can instill confidence in your players. So as the youngest coach in America, I'm here for you guys. You guys can ask me any kind of questions. My cell number will be at the end of this three little presentation slide before we get into the film. You guys can text me, send me you guys' number. I'm a young guy, so I'm open to everybody. I'm on my phone all day. I don't get tired of it. So any guys want to talk about it, we can talk. We can hop on the phone, FaceTime, do anything like that. But today, I'll just be going over just one of the press techniques that I teach for your corners and for your safeties or nickels when they're sticking slots. It's basically the traditional motor mirror. I call it inch, but a lot of people call it motor mirror. It's one of the most common press techniques that is used in football today. Mine's just a tad bit different than everybody's because I do certain things with their stance and start and everything like that. So how mine starts, obviously I start everything with pre-snap. Pre-snap alignments, stances, and everything is big to me because if you're not lined up the right way before the play starts, then you're already at a disadvantage, especially if that wide receiver is someone who can really give you a challenge. So the first thing I teach is stance. Now my stance is different than the normal stance because I'm such a football junkie. I watched a lot of different DB coaches and how they did things, and I kind of took took a guy like a Jimmy Lake and a Will Harris at UW, mixed it with a Coach Burns, who I GA for last year at USC. And my stance that I use is pretty wider than the normal. You know, a lot of people say shoulder width apart, you know, get comfortable and everything like that. I like wide stances. Why? Because I want receivers to feel like when they line up against you that you're bigger than them. No matter how tall, if you're a muscly frame, if you're a skinny guy, I want receivers to feel like you're much bigger than them at the line of scrimmage. So wide stance is a little bit wider than you usually would go, and low bases. Wide stance and low base is what gives receivers the thought that you're bigger than them, and you can be a skinny guy. I got one of my guys is Jack Jones. He's 5'11" on a good day, 170 pounds on a good day as well. So he's one of those guys that I put in those wide bases, and it's hard for receivers to get around him when he's doing everything correctly. So obviously I start off with the stance, a wider base than usual. I want wide body. I want to make it feel like you're an intimidating force at the line of scrimmage. A big thing and probably one of the most important things is leverage. And I'm saying this from the standpoint of, are you going to play inside leverage or outside leverage? And from coming from USC and doing the way I've done it, I had never heard of really outside leverage press, nor so have I used it. Everything was pretty much inside leverage press, you know, try to force them to the sideline, things like that, unless you're in a slot, obviously. But on the outside on that island, I had never heard of outside leverage press. And then once I got here, me and Coach Herm, obviously he's a DB guy, me, him, and Marv had our own clinic within the office. And I grew to the idea, you know, I grew accustomed to the idea of an outside leverage press depending on, obviously, the receiver split. So I always say it like this: if the ball is on a hash and that single X to the weak side by himself, if he's anywhere inside that number, then we want to press outside, because you also want to use your where your help is at. You got inside linebackers in there, and you got most likely a lot of the times you're going to have a post safety in there. So if he's anywhere outside the numbers, then you go inside leverage press, use that sideline as your help. A lot of the times, once that receiver steps out of bounds, he can't step in bounds and be the first one to touch the ball, unless it was a force out and he comes back in. So we always have to know, as DBs, we have to know where our help is at, especially when it comes to when you're playing man-to-man. You got to know if you have a low hole player and a high hole player. You got to know if it's zero coverage. Because in zero coverage, you're not going to necessarily press. You're going to play off and be ready to jump routes, because the ball got to come out quick. So you got to know exactly where your help is at on every single play. And I teach my guys straight up, if you don't know where your help is at, you're going to lose on the rep. You have to know who can help you on each play. You got to know if it's a 2 high safety. You got to know if it's a 1 high safety. And these are things that you guys can take back and coach your guys with, because it's never too early to just learn football. You know, as a high schooler, I was big on learning football, knowing what certain routes can and can't be, you know, learning certain route combinations and things like that. And then once I got into college, obviously I had great mentors and things like that, and I took it to the next level. So you always got to know where your help is at. That's part of the leverage thing. Eye discipline. You know, a lot of guys, when they get in pressure, obviously a lot of the guys are taught to look at the weights from the beginning. But how often, almost on every play, if you're looking at the weights, your eyes are going to come up to the chest. It's just going to naturally happen. So I say start off with the eye discipline. Once you get your stance and your leverage right, your eye discipline, you start off mid-thigh. And so that when you do work up, you finally get to the waist, because obviously the waist is going to tell you where it's going. The waist can't twist and turn. It can't do anything. It has to stay square for the most part. And you go from thigh straight up to the waist, and you get the hip movements of the receiver. That's just a little pre-snap that I go through with my guys. And obviously we're talking, so it'll happen faster this when you're on the field. It's a 3-second thing. It'll happen. Where's the ball at? Things like that. Post snap, and then we'll get into this more film wise. This is just me putting it into words. After you get through with your leverage and everything like that, you want small motor steps, which is basically inching backwards, giving yourself ground, creating a new line of scrimmage. If there's any receiver coaches in here, they know that receivers are taught to create a new line of scrimmage. And at the same time, I took that information and I put it into my own techniques, and we want to do the same thing. So you obviously you work backwards, smaller steps, and you're creating yourself a brand new line of scrimmage for yourself. You know, you would hate it if you had to stand put right there and a receiver's coming at you full speed. That's just not going to work for you. So give yourself a little bit of ground and create a new line of scrimmage for you where you feel comfortable. And now this is not a moving backwards full speed thing. This is not a backpedaling at the line of scrimmage. It's just small, subtle, small inch steps where you're getting your feet going and you're ready to make a move and you're ready to mirror, which is our next thing. You're ready to mirror the receiver's movements. A lot of being able to play DB it just comes naturally with wiring, is what I call it. It's being able to match movements. How quickly can you match the movement of a receiver? Now there's all different types of DBs. You obviously got tall ones or maybe a little bit stiffer. You got short ones, or maybe a little bit quicker. You got dudes in between. But mirroring receivers has nothing to do with any of that. If you can have the quickness and the awareness to know what a receiver is trying to do to you at the line of scrimmage, then you'll be just fine. And what I say when it comes to press technique, no matter what technique you're using, you could be using inch, you could use a pure step, kick step. Every rep, to me, in my opinion, is one within the first 5 yards of the route. It is what it is. If you're winning within the first 5, if you're making that receiver feel like he's losing within the first 5 yards, a lot of the times that ball won't get thrown. Obviously, in a one-on-one where you had a camp or something like that, the ball's always going to get thrown. But if you're in a game, we're taking this to game. If you're in a game and you're making that receiver take a wider release than he thought he was going to have to take, you're making him stutter his feet at the line of scrimmage like he doesn't want to, you're making him restart his feet at 5 yards, you're winning. And what I call winning, the winning formula is being half a yard on top, arms distance length. So if you can touch that guy and you're a little bit on top of him, then you're just fine, because you'll be able to react to anything he does. You can react to him breaking inside. You can react to him breaking outside. You can react to him breaking down, and obviously you're already in position for any deeper routes that you're going to get. So that's just the post snap things that I like to talk about. Here goes my cell number. Everybody can take this down. You could just shoot me a text, and I'll get back to as many of you as possible. Obviously, I'll get back to all of you. But you can, before we get into the film, you guys can take my number down and my email as well. I'll give you about 30 seconds to get that done. All right. I'll move on to just a little bit of film that I've put together. Obviously, I've showed my guys this before as well. This is just it says my. Can everybody see? Can everybody see this right here? I was paused.
Yeah, we'll see your contact information.
Oh, okay. You want me to pull it back up?
Yeah, no, that's we're still on your slides, on your contact info slide.
Oh,
That's
okay.
what we see.
Let me know when you guys are ready to keep going.
Yeah, no, we're good.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
All right. So they can all see this right here, what I'm on right here on Exos?
No, we don't see Exos. We see it's still on the contact slide, PowerPoint presentation.
Okay, I got you.
You should be able to reshare it on the bottom, Coach. So if you go down and click on the bottom, okay, and then share the XO screen now. You should be able to redo that now. There you go.
It's good now?
Yep, you're good.
Yep.
Okay.
Got it.
All right. This is just, like I said, obviously you guys know who Herm Edwards is, and being a young dude, a lot of the times I got to share, obviously, individual with him, and I love it because he teaches me a lot of things. But I just want to guys take you through a little bit of just a small, this is just pre-practice drill work that I do with my guys just when I'm teaching press. And then I'll take you through some one-on-ones as well as just some NFL guys doing it. So right here, what I like to do when I'm teaching this, because I don't want to make it so easy on my guys, you know, learning this type of technique. So what I tell them is, you know, get about 3 to 4 yards off and basically work your motor from there. I basically say 3 to 4 yards off and work your motor from there. Just small insteps, recreating basically the line of scrimmage. And a lot of the times, a lot of kids, especially high school kids, like to open up right away. And that's not really what we want to do. We basically want to stay square, and then basically you one-hand jab at the top once that receiver tells you where he's going. And this is the winning formula I'm looking for at the top of the 5 yards. When you get to 5 yards, this is what I'm looking for. Where you get half a yard on top of him, and with one being able to touch him with obviously your inside hand. Now, we don't necessarily by leverage want to cut off guys. If you're inside leverage and he's running that fade, there's no need to cut him off because he can easily come back underneath you and then you've lost. So right here, I would just tell my guy, just good insteps, good stand square, good arm width, but just stay on the inside of him. That's all I would tell him. Right here. Now, and this is for everybody. So here's one of my safeties doing it. Receiver starts working, small insteps. Once he makes his move, be ready to stay square, and that's what I'm looking for right there. This body language and this body posture is what I'm looking for out of my guy. You can see his head down, he's reading that hip just in case that receiver comes down. He can touch him right there. He's half a yard in front of him. This right here is exactly what I'm looking for out of all my guys when this is said and done. Now this is another drill I do. So here's Jack Jones. Another drill I do. This is a guy who should be one of the best corners in the conference this year. Actually I have two of them. But Jack Jones is another drill I do. Basically working your inch steps while being able to touch the receiver. So I use this. So if you look, he started off, and a lot of the guys, you got to realize, a lot of the guys may have false steps in them because they use that to gain ground backwards as well. You know, a lot of the thing about being DB is you want to make them comfortable doing you want to make your guys comfortable doing your technique without changing everything they do. So Jack Jones is a guy, when he inches, he likes to use that inside foot jab step. That's fine. As long as he's able to mirror, use those inch steps. You can see smaller steps, inching. That's what it's supposed to look like. See, he stands square. He's being able to punch whenever he needs to. He's mirroring those movements, and that's how that's supposed to be done. Show you one more time. He's one guy that jabs, inch, hand. So if that receiver really wants to make a move upfield, he can easily match those movements by staying square. That's the biggest part of it. We want these receivers to have to go all the way around us. Everything about playing DB is messing up the timing of the receivers. If you open up from the get-go, then they're just going to run their route. You make them go around you, you make them struggle to get around you, then we're talking. The ball is probably going to go the opposite way. Right here, I want to show you just a few clips of us not doing it too well, and then I'll show you obviously more clips of us doing it pretty well, using our leverage to our advantage. Right here, this is Chase Lucas. So this is the first day where I told him I want him 3 yards off, just to make everything hard, harder on us. You know what I'm saying? We were taught this, and I wanted to make everything hard. So obviously he's inside leverage. He's off at about 2.5 yards. So right here, the receiver comes at him. Good steps. That's good steps. But at a certain point, he has to be ready to stop and stay square and make that dude go around him. It's not just a backpedal the whole time. You see, he backpedaled too much. That receiver didn't break till 5 yards. If you get to 4.5 yards and put hands on this receiver, the route is done. It's done. You backing up is basically opening the gate for him. So you open the gate, we didn't get no hands on him, and it was easy for this dude to run a curl route. That was too easy. The receiver started off a yard inside the numbers and ended up on the numbers. That's not enough. We need him outside those numbers on these releases. If you can see right here, Chase started off at 2 yards. Chase is lost at 5 yards. He can't touch him, and he's too far on top. The route is done. Right here, Chase again. He's 2 yards off the receiver. He's backing up too much. There's a such thing as too much inch. He's backing up too much. Now, we may have one, but we got to take the good with the bad. The receiver failed. Obviously, we want to pick this ball off, but he's backing up too much. But this stance is perfect. This is what I want their stance looking like. A wide-based stance, because a lot of times once you get into those narrow stances, they naturally get wide anyway. So I want wide stances from the get-go. His inch wasn't bad, but he's doing it too much. At some point, once you inch back, you got to stand your ground. The new line of scrimmage should be right there. Stand your ground, put hands on. Now, he's a good enough athlete where he can react to all of this, and hopefully he makes his play during the game. So right here, you can see Ashari Croswell is outside leverage from the get-go. Now I will tell you this, fellas, when we do our one-on-ones, we pretend like there's a post safety in the middle of the field. So a lot of the times, depending on where the receiver's at and everything like that, that's where our leverage is. We pretend like there's a post safety in the middle of the field. We want to deliver him to the post. But Ashari, he inched back and immediately lost leverage. Immediately, and he lost. If you're outside leverage, you want to, for him to get outside of you, he has to struggle. If you can see, there's no struggle in 85. He just goes. For him to get outside, we have to make him restart his feet. He has to be able to match those movements. It should be a mirror, and then a big shuffle right there to 85's inside and force him all the way to those numbers and mess up the timing. He's just running down like he wants to. Okay, right here. To Marcus Davis. He does a good job. He does a great job of motor mirror. That's a great job. Stays square. He opens up, but he's too far on top. He's too far on top. As you can see, he was outside leverage. The receiver is struggling. Now, we're not trying to take those. We're not trying to take that release away. He's trying to take this release away instead of converting to the inside leverage, half a yard on top with your arm on him. He's trying to take it away. There's literally probably 4 yards to the sideline. We got to use the sideline as our friend if you're going to convert to inside leverage. He's on top. The receiver easily pushes him down, and it's hard to recover once you get there. Now here goes some clips of us doing it, and just to let you guys know, this is something that I brought over to these guys. They weren't taught this last year. This is all new to them. We only had 7 practices in the spring, so for them to have progressed as well as they have, I'm very excited for what ASU is going to do this year, especially defensive back wise. I have an older group. Luckily, I have an older group. I'm a rookie coach, so me having an older group is much easier. But I'm excited for you guys to see us this year. But This is just some clips of us doing it well. So Jack Jones. Look, small, quick steps. Being able to match the receiver. At some point, you got to settle down. He does. He's not running. He's not going backwards full speed or anything like that. It's small, being able to mirror. Reading routes. It's easy. Route is done. That's what it's supposed to look like. This is what it's supposed to look like. Wider base than usual. Small steps. Being under control. Look how under control he is. He's not panicked by anybody. And obviously, once you get past 5 yards, it's being a football player. Finish. Top field shoulder. Get the ball out. This is Chase Lucas. Wider base. Good, great. You see the difference between last time and this time? Remember, last time, he backpedaled all the way to the 5 yards. Now, this time, inch, be ready to go. Hands on. This is the position we want. This is the position we want at 5 yards. We're winning. This is what we call a win for us. Now, once you get past this point, it's about being a football player. You got to be a football player. We can all football coaches can do is teach technique. We can't make you an athlete. We can't. The natural football instincts that you have in you is what you have in you. He's won right now. To me, in my opinion, route is done. It's a one-on-one, so the ball's going to get thrown anyway. But this is in the game. To me, route is done. This is a great job by this kid. Wide base like I like it. Small inch steps. Staying square. Be ready to open up. Hands on. It's over. It's over. So like I told you before, Jack likes to jab with his inside foot a lot of times, right? So once he jabs, he's on his way to inching, and this receiver gives him a shock release. Because his base is wider, he can prohibit this release. You got to think about it. Frank Darby is a 215-pound receiver. Jack Jones is 173, 174 maybe. When a receiver shock locks him, he should not be able to maintain his leverage like this. It should be over. But because his base is wider, he can prolong this and push this dude to the sideline. There's no way he should have won this rep. And we got refs there, so it ain't no PI. Chase Lucas, once again. Wider base, inch. Where the receiver does a speed release on us. So it's time to go. It's time to go close. Great rep. It's a great rep. And like I said, everything's not going to be perfect. Look, I know at 5 yards right here, Chase is on top. He can touch this dude if he wants to. To me, this is a win. To me, that's a win. Once you get past 5 yards, now it's you being an athlete. Cut him off. Look, lean, and squeeze. Once he's declared his route, look, lean, and squeeze. This is a great job. It's a great job by 24. Wide base, small inch steps, mirror, look, lean, and squeeze. Once he determines his route, it's over. It's over. A lot of guys don't have the confidence to turn around and look for this ball. Playing defensive back is all about getting the ball, fellas. The receiver started off on the inside of the numbers. Look where he ends up. He's 3 yards from the sideline. He's 3 yards from the sideline. That's what it's all about. Messing up the timing of these receivers. This is all a timing game. Now, from the slot, Jordan Clark. And this is something, like I told you, we use this guy as a slot. As a post safety. So you always got to think about it. We're not playing cover zero, especially when we're pressing. We're not playing cover zero. Know where your help is at. This goes back to from the beginning, from the PowerPoint. We all have to know exactly where our help is at. He knows his help is in the post. He's running an over route. He knows he can undercut. He's outside leverage. Small inch steps backwards. Once that receiver declares, now it's time to go. Now it's time to go. I can touch that man. I'm on top by half of a yard. It's time to go. And on these over routes, we always teach to undercut and make this an over the top an over-the-shoulder throw. We want to make this throw go over the top of us. Now, this kid is 5'8", so it looked a little different. Obviously, he touched it and messed up the timing with him and the receiver, but this kid does a great job closing, getting eyes back. I would like him to get to the top field shoulder first before he does this, but nonetheless, he's pushing that kid he's pushing him to the post safety, and he's undercutting the route. Look, Ashari, we just saw Ashari on the last rep. He lost his leverage right from the get-go. This is a day later. He won't lose his leverage. Look from this angle. Look, he's protecting his outside leverage. Small inch steps. Now it's time to go. Squeeze the top field shoulder. That's what it should look like. He determines to go on the inside, squeeze the top field shoulder, and close. That's what it should look like. It's a great job by this kid. Squeeze. Good job. Now, like I said, you're always gonna have a guy like Jack where you can't. He has certain things he does just like this. Right here, I like to be honest, I like my kids playing free. I don't want them being robots. I give them certain techniques, and once they learn techniques, they take it to the next level. I call it an arsenal. And every kid is going to have an arsenal, or I call it a bag that he can get into. Whether his bag can be full, his bag can only have a little amount of things in it. I expect freshmen to not really have too many things in their bag, in their backpack where they can pull out. A guy like Jack is a guy who's been playing football for a long time. I actually played with him at USC for 2 years before I started coaching him at ASU. So a respect level is there. And he's a guy that has a lot of in his arsenal. He has a fake jab, he has a punch, he has everything. So if you look right here, he's fake jabbing. But before the fake jab is up, when the fake jab is over, he gets back into his inches. Small steps, staying on top. Fellas, this is a win. We're winning. If you play man to man across the board and everybody looks like this, I find it hard for that quarterback to complete this pass. Unless you're going against Calvin Johnson, Julio Jones. I find it hard for this QB to complete this pass. Receiver started off a yard inside the numbers. Look where he ends up when it's all said and done. Look how perfect of a pass that has to be for him to complete that. That's perfect. He fake jabs. Inch. Stay square. He's staying square. He's making that receiver. Look how far he's widening that receiver. It's perfect. This is what it should look like. Being able to match movements. Feeling that the back shoulder is coming. Now this is not nothing that I given him. We didn't even get that far in spring ball. This is just being a good football player. Feeling that. Being able to feel that back shoulder coming. That's good DB play. This is good by TD. Small inch steps backwards, being able to match movements. It's over. Small inch steps, being able to stay square and match movements. So I want y'all to look at this. This receiver starts off right here, 1 yard inside the numbers. Look where he breaks off a slant. He breaks off a slant right here. So he started off here and broke off an inside breaking route maybe 2 yards outside the hash. That's a win. That ball will not get thrown in 11-on-11 football. That ball will not get thrown. It will not get thrown. being able to match routes. At 5 yards, look where he's at. We're touching him. We're squeezing because he's making that inside breaking. He's going to on an inside breaking route, so we're squeezing that top field shoulder, just like I was telling my safeties earlier. We're on top of him, and we're able to break up this pass. These are huge wins. These are huge wins. This is beautiful. This was one of the best reps of the spring. This is my nickelback versus slot receiver. Obviously, we're outside leverage. In step, being square. It's done. Route is done. Route is done. Route is done. He stays on his outside leverage so that when that dude does try to get to the outside, he's forcing him all the way. Dude, that's done. It's done. Look from this angle. Outside leverage, tad bit outside leverage, small steps, protect your outside. If that dude wants to force his outside leverage, that's fine. That's fine. We're on top of that. That's a beautiful rep. It's a beautiful rep. At 5 yards, what I say, after every 5 yards, see where we're at. It's over. Route is done. Route is done. He doesn't even get to his route. Now, this is that was me teaching my guys and what they got a chance to do in the spring. And that's just, obviously, we only got 7 practices in, and that was just a little bit of what I was able to teach them and what we were able to learn in the film room. I'm looking forward to using it in a game. They weren't taught it last year, so I really don't have no game film of it. But I went and got some NFL film of it from last year, obviously. The Vikings do a lot of this technique. I mean, their DB coach is one of the main dudes who uses it. I got a chance last training camp to go up, and during a bye week of last year, I got a chance to go up and visit the Vikings. I have a friend who plays for them, and I got a chance to sit in their meetings and watch a few days of practice during the season. And I brought some stuff back, obviously. But if you can, at the bottom of the screen, number 21, Mike Hughes. You can tell from the get-go, he's outside leverage. The NFL is different because the numbers in the hashes are different. But you can tell that receiver is in a close proximity to the in-man line of scrimmage, which is the tackle. So obviously, our leverage, we're going to play outside leverage. We have a post safety in the middle of the field, so we're going to try to make that receiver go as close to the post safety as possible. But if that dude wants to create an outside release for himself, we're taking that away. We're taking that away. We start off outside leverage. We shuffle there. Small inch steps. Small shuffle. One hand. What I say? At 5 yards, we've won. This is what it looks like when you've won at 5 yards. This is what it looks like. That receiver is on the sideline hashes. It doesn't get any more perfect than that. That receiver went from the top of the numbers to the sideline hashes. It doesn't get any better than that. Obviously, we want to catch the pick, but it doesn't get any better than that. As you can see, they're using this technique on the top level, the NFL, obviously. But from where that receiver started to where he had to finish his route, that's a huge win. That's a huge win. Vikings again at the top of the screen. I want to say this is Mike Hughes again versus Amari Cooper, one of the best receivers in the league. Obviously, he has a wide split, so obviously we're going to play inside leverage this time. And it's the same technique. Same technique. Jab motors, a little bit more patient. Small inch steps, be ready to open up, widen him out. It's a win. That's a win. Obviously, on 3rd and 5, you're going to play the sticks more, but that's what it looks like. This is a win versus one of the best receivers in the NFL. Just signed a $100 million contract. This is what it looks like at the highest level. Got a few more for you guys. At the bottom of the screen, Mike Hughes again. Inside leverage, guys outside the numbers. Inch, inch, inch. Be ready to open up and be ready to close. This is being used. And just like how Jack likes to jab, this dude likes to jab a little bit as well. He jabs with his outside so that he can create that new line of scrimmage and create some force going backwards. But just being able to mirror movements by a receiver. Being able to copy their movements, you know, this is something that we as a coach, you kind of can't give a guy. He kind of has this naturally. We can't give dudes talent. God gives them talent. All we can do is take that talent and try to make them into better football players. So at the bottom of the screen. And you can even look at the top of the screen as well. At the top of the screen, Trey Waynes does the same thing. Small inch steps backwards, and they're matching routes. This is in the NFL. This is what it looks like. I want to say this is the last one. Mike Hughes again, number 21 at the bottom of the screen. The ball's not going to come his way, but just watch the technique. Watch the technique. In steps, being able to mirror. He's matching these routes easily. And this is in the NFL versus one of the NFL's most – I'm a Cowboys fan. And it hurts me to put them on a cut-up where DBs are constantly winning. But this is what it looks like on the highest level. This is what it looks like on the highest level. I want to say that was my last one, and pretty much, fellas, that was my spiel for today. If any of you guys want to contact me, like you guys have my number, I'll put my number up again. Any questions that you guys have for me, I'm willing to answer, obviously.
See if we got any questions, Coach. Is that your screen?
Let me share screen. Is my number on there?
There we go. Yeah, number's on there, Coach.
Okay.
Appreciate it. Great job.
Absolutely. And this is my first time doing one of these too. Y'all can let me know how I did too.
Did good. That's why we put you clean up.
Yeah,
Put you in that cleanup spot.
Yes, sir.
Good job, man. I tell you, it's great to see, as an old fat dude over here sitting on my end, and here's a 24-year-old guy, got that passion and coaching up guys. I mean, that's really cool. I'm proud of you. Good work. Keep it up.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And as a young dude, obviously I'm connected through a lot of people. I'm big on the social media front, Instagram and Twitter. So if you guys want to follow me, I'll follow everybody back. I'll take a look at, any kids you guys want me to look at and evaluate. During quarantine, I got a lot of time, so I'm evaluating kids all day. So if you guys follow me, it's obviously Seahawk_4 on both platforms, Instagram and Twitter. So you guys can follow me and DM me on there as well. But if anybody has any questions, I'll gladly ask any questions or whatever. But I'm here for you guys.
All right. And we appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for your time. I know everybody's busy. I know you're busy. You guys are continuing to grind even in this lockdown thing. But hopefully we all get back on the field, get our players again, and all get back in our buildings and get back after it. So I appreciate you coming on. Keep up the good work.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Appreciate your time. Thanks, Coach.
I appreciate you. Yes, sir.
All right. Take care and have a great night.
Thank you. Yes, sir.